The final Commander Shadowsun legendary event is coming up next, and so today we will take a look at how to make sure you don't miss out on the supreme commander of the Tau Empire. Planning for a legendary event always begins about a month before they actually start, and with the Ragnar Blackmane legendary event now finished, we should already be turning our attention to the final opportunity to get Commander Shadowsun. There are definitely some good solid strategies to be following if you want to open up a legendary character, and today we'll be walking through them specifically with the Commander Shadowsun event in mind. My strategy for these is always very similar every month. I will sit down with my current roster, my Google Planner sheet, and I'll just play around with it, looking to see how I can bring my team to the next level. And what does next level mean? Well, it depends on really where you are right now in the game. To open a legendary event character, realistically you're going to need at least 6 or 7 gold 1 characters, and of course, more the better. So the first level to reach is getting some of the best characters in the game leveled up to gold 1. Then after that, I'm at the next stage where I'm starting to bring a few of my characters up to gold 2 so that I can just add one more star to my legendary characters. Most of the rest of the teams have gold 1 characters in them, so it's really about bringing them up to that next level. Finally, the top players are all working to complete every single battle in a legendary event, but I think that requires quite a few high level characters at present. So let's stick with looking at what characters are useful to level for the Shadowsun event, and then you can decide yourself where you want to take them. Let's begin with the Alpha track. We can't take any Necrons, and the battles are as follows. Big Target gives you 115 points, No Psychers 40 points, minimum 4 hits 80 points, Power 80 points, and Melee 60 points. And so right from the beginning, you might be thinking, DB Preacher always says that you should be prioritizing the highest points battle. But here you might want to try something a little different. And here's where it's really important for you to take a close look at the track as a whole, because you're trying to minimize your token usage as much as you possibly can, and there might be a better focus here for you. So what we actually want to do is focus on the No Psyker, minimum 4 hits, and power battles all at the same time, because there's a great collection of characters in here that not only work well in these battles, but are actually some of the top scoring legendary event characters across the board. So it makes a lot of sense to level them up anyway, and especially for this. And with 40 points, 80 points, and 80 points, you'll end up with 200 points in total, over the 115 you would get if you were just focusing on the Big Target track. And so there are 6 that you can pick from that will be able to participate in all 3 battles. We've got Angrax, Onshi, Mogin Ra, Nauseous Rotbone, Toth, and Volt. And incredibly, all of these characters are in the top 9 in terms of scoring in the current legendary events, so you cannot go wrong with leveling them up. They're all great and will be useful in many places in the game. There is an alternative though to going for 3 battles at once. You could stick with the same teams above and just do the minimum 4 hits and power battles. Then you can focus on the No Psychers and melee battles, but this is less points than the Big Target battles, with only 100 points versus 115 points. Either way, the team that can take you all the way to stage 12 and completing it is the Isabella Battle Ball. You pick Isabella, then you take 2 or 3 of the following: Marneus Calgar, Bellator, and Aryak. Throw in someone else to round off the team. Personally, I've started using Incisors here to keep Isabella topped up with health or to revive her if she falls. He's proven to be a very useful ally. And that team feels absolutely dirty and definitely should be invested in as soon as possible. The other useful Imperial character for the Isabella Battle Ball generally is Brother Butchered. Amazingly, all you need to have is Isabella at Silver 1 and a decently leveled passive, then 2 of those tanks that I mentioned to Gold 1, and it'll make such a difference to how far you get through an event. It might not take you quite to stage 12, but it will take you a lot farther than some of your other teams. Finally, we get to the Big Target battle, and I think this kind of sucks honestly for new players because the selection of characters here is quite limited if you've got a small character pool. Boss Golgorts and Morven Vale are 2 legendary characters. Then you've got Revas, whose shards currently aren't available outside of requisition pools, and yet is one of the most important characters currently in the game. Interestingly though, all the characters in this battle, except Cut Skoden, are also in the top 20 scoring characters in legendary events, so again, they're well worth investing in. If I had to pick my priorities though, I would be leveling Revas, Tyrant Guard, and Volk. Volk especially in this event scores the most points out of everyone, so is a good investment here. Tyrant Guard though is also crazy good in legendary events, and is my second most powerful pick now behind Isabella. I've been saying it for a little bit, but definitely invest in him. So that's already a lot to think about. But we have some good teams here to start with and focus on, and if you have Isabella and Rotbone, you should be well on your way to collecting Shadowsun with ease. If you don't, well, it's a lot more difficult honestly, and you'll probably need to overlevel the rest of your characters, but it's still possible of course. The beta track is very interesting. Firstly, it is quite a small limitation with only Tyranids being unavailable, which means most other characters are available. Then it's really split into two different parts, the Astrum Militarum battle and everything else. For the Astra Militarum battle, you're going to be limited by the number of characters you have available. What I mean is, if you're missing Castellan Creed or one of the others, then furthest you'll probably get is stage 6. Anything else other than that is quite a stretch, especially with these characters. Generally, Commissar Yarrick is a great character to level. He is the equal top scoring Imperial character in legendary events along with Morven Vale. The rest of the Astrum Militarum are just not that interesting in legendary events, so just do your best here, try and get at least to stage 6, and that's probably a successful run. For the rest, it's similar to the alpha track, where you have quite a few different characters that you can pick from, and they're actually able to complete the mech, no bolter, no piercing, and no summon battles, all with just one token. And that's pretty awesome, and let's see the list of characters. So we're talking about Actus, Aleph Null, Anufet, Boss Golgorts, Exeter Row, Imospec, Makotep, Revas, Snapareka, Thutmose, and Vitruvius. And that's quite a lot to choose from. For me, the best picks out of this list would be Actus, Aleph Null, Imospec, Makotep, Revas, and Snapareka. So that narrows it down to 6 to pick from. Just be careful when playing with Aleph Null or Revas that you don't accidentally summon their spawns, as you will fail the no summons battle. But either way, with the healing from Actus, Makotep and Aleph Null, this team will definitely take you far, and all of them are really great characters that will come in handy way into the future. Moving to the Gamma track, I often find this to be a bit of a mixed bag and quite often the most difficult track to complete in the recent legendary events. This is because we don't have Imperials available to us. For the Shadowsun Gamma track, it's split up into 3 main battles. No piercing, min 3 hits, and power battles for 190 points combined. Black Legion for 120 points, and then the ranged battle for 65 points. With the Black Legion battle, it's the same story as the Astra Militarum battle. If you don't have all the troops, you're going to struggle. Without any healers, you're probably going to struggle anyway, so again, aim for stage 6 or above and you're doing pretty well here to start with. And later, you'll need to overlevel these troops quite considerably to complete it. The no piercing, min 3 hits and power battles are a lot more interesting for me though, and they can be done with the following characters: Angrax, Onshi, Maladis, Morgan Ra, Nauseous Rotbone, Toth, and Volk. And there's some really familiar names on there. If you look back at the alpha track, you can see that it was almost the same team, just missing Maladis, although even he can be used in the alpha track a bit too. Finally though, with the ranged battles, there's plenty of characters to pick here. Just pick whoever you have the most leveled, and don't worry too much about it. You'll have decent characters here, and you should be easily able to bring this to stage 6 or above, providing you've got gold characters. Okay, so as I said, that's an overwhelming amount of data. Let's summarize this into a good plan for you to focus on in the next month that will allow you to maximize your points and hopefully unlock Shadowsun or level them up to the next star or winged. This still depends on your level, and you'll probably need 6 or 7 of these at gold 1 level at least, as well as having Isabella and Rotbone. But don't despair if you don't, because every upgrade that you put into these characters will be definitely useful in the future legendary events. For Alpha and Gamma, pick 5 of these: Angrax, Onshi, Morgan Ra, Nauseous Rotbone, Toth, and Volk. For Beta, pick 5 of these again: Actus, Aleph Null, Imospec, Makotep, Revas, Snapareka. And finally, Isabella Battle Ball. Isabella, and then take 2 or 3 of the following: Marneus Calgar, Bellator, and Aryak. And then finally, just as many Black Legion and Astra Militarum that you can level. And I know, that's a lot of characters to focus on, and maybe even that last list is still too overwhelming for you. If that's the case, just pick 3 or 4 of those characters that you think you'll like to play and get them leveled to gold 1. I would definitely prioritize healers in that case. They are the most useful characters for sure in this event. All the best with the event. Let me know if this helped you to get Shadowsun when it comes around, and also if this is generally useful, because I'll be trying to do something a little bit more in-depth like this for other future legendary events.